Hello and welcome to the Gears Tactics playthrough. This is my playthrough of attempting the game on Insane without having any units die. I tried to not spoil anything, no clickbait thumbnail, no spoiler in the title. I know people that scroll through the YouTube feed don't want to have the game spoiled. I'm now going to post the gameplay and I'm going to chat over it. I'm going to try give some tips and tricks per level, but mostly just chat about my experience inside of the level. Just try help you get through it and maybe talk about what I was thinking at the time. All of these levels and games were streamed live at twitch.tv/GGZII, so if you want to tune in live, that would be awesome. If you would like to comment and like, that would be awesome. And if you want to go a step further and support all of the content I put out on YouTube, there are ways to do so in the description with direct support links. There may even be a shop in the future, and Twitch Primes, because, you know, everyone in the world uses Twitch Prime these days apparently, so that's a good way to support me. All of the videos will be put into a Gears Tactics playlist.
This one's gonna be a fight. Defend those supplies. Time to go.
On my way.
Well, together we made it.
Okay.
We made it even though we had our backs up against the wall. Episode 5, Iron Man. Nope, but it is Insane with no deaths. It is pretty tough. Giving it a go. This one was probably the most taxing mentally to try and complete so far of all of the missions. I'm sure there'll be worse to come, but for now this was probably the worst. And what this is King of the Hill. So just like online, got a bunch of sweaty players trying to cross you, and your job is to capture the hill. Now each turn you're in the hill you gain a point. I don't know what the score is on lower difficulties, but for me, the Locust have effectively 4 to 5 turns to cap that flag, and I need to capture all those squares to the left of the top hand side of the screen you can see. So my job was to stop that and get in the hill. However, there was a left and a right hill, and I wasn't sure exactly how to do that. So the approach I went for, the approach that seemed to work, and I'll chat through it as we go, was taking the middle bridge. The reason we decided to take the middle bridge was because I felt like being able to cover each side with a sniper, as I just unlocked this sniper character, might be pretty useful to cover both sides. Because I was planning on splitting the troops up. The idea was to get down this bridge as fast as possible, making my way forwards with Overwatch and General just sniping shots, you know, moving forwards as a unit and then taking control. That was the idea. Right. However, I quickly realised that this level has a ton of enemies, almost infinitely spawning enemies, and I just wasn't able. Maybe, again, on easier modes you can split up, maybe there's a different tactic for the harder mode, but there's a bonus crate available. It's a casual armour piece you get if you sit in both rings for 2 turns. I wasn't able to do that, so what I decided to do was steam down the middle and just try to clear out as much as possible. And as quickly as possible. Again, like we spoke about in the last episode, the longer you wait, the more sort of wraparounds, crosses, different moves the enemy has. It just becomes impossible to try and limit their moves and make your sort of way forwards. So what I'm trying to do here is basically limit what I'm fighting against. That means disable shotting them and pushing down this bridge as a unit, and then I was going to come down and all get in the hill. That was the game plan. So that is why I'm currently steaming down the bridge with Overwatch. Basically 4 Overwatches, and if I can see anyone, I'm shooting them. Occasionally I'll have a look maybe down the bridge, see if I can shoot anyone. But for the moment, we're just sort of covering. And the reason I covered this was I didn't want this wretch to get in the hill and gain a free point. And then I wanted to watch behind me with the sniper because I wasn't sure what was about to come up and get me. So the reason I'm trying to desperately not allow anything into the hill is they only need 4 turns. So I need to basically capture this right hand hill and then get all the way across and hold it for, I think it's 7 turns. So if I give them any sort of lead, it's going to be really, really difficult to win, especially with all these monsters being dropped off. I've got a pack of wretches dropped off behind me, which means I need to think about behind. And I also need to think about getting on that supply point and stopping that wretch. This took a few attempts to get down, but this was the run where I managed to complete it, obviously, hence why you're seeing it now on YouTube. And the way it seemed to work was, again, killing everything before it gets into the ring was the play. Sounds pretty obvious. Obviously, you don't want them to capture the ring, so you want to kill it beforehand. But what I mean is, you really want to set up so you never get flanked and you can just focus on one area and zone them off. So the idea, what I was planning, was to basically leave a trail of grenades behind me so nothing could follow me. And then we'd take the hill and then we'd go to the next hill. It kind of worked, and it's a pretty good strategy, but it took a while to get going because there was a lot of things to deal with initially. So with Sid, I'm sort of pushing Sid up and just dealing with everything that we can see. Nothing too crazy going on here at the moment. We're just making our way down the bridge, moving up basically block by block. And this was sort of the tactic. You see here, going to get her to plant a grenade. I'm going to get her to pick up this box whilst we can. Sorry, Gabe's going to pick up the box whilst we can. And the idea was for us to plant grenades and make our way forwards. Then we didn't have to worry about behind. And also, I was dying a lot to people on the bridge. Meaning when I was sat in the hills, I was getting crossed from above. And I obviously didn't want that to happen. So the idea was to stick a load of grenades on the bridge so nothing could sit on there. And then I would only have to deal with, say, my facing forwards fight rather than what's crossing me from behind or above. So far we're doing a good job. They've only got 1 point, and I've got my sniper on the bridge in a pretty decent spot. Bear in mind I'm still thinking about wretches coming from behind. Tried to throw a grenade there but was sadly not able to hit it. So I'll go for the reload. And again, I'm trying to kill anything before it comes in the ring. 99% chance, thank God that one hit. And what we're doing now is I'm moving my guys up, Sid, Stotty and Gabe. I'm pushing them up to also set up an overwatch. So that kind of stops them running into me. And then I'm going to get Gabe here to again reload. He's going to push up and he's going to sort of cover this sort of angle where this grenadier might get into the hill, because obviously I don't want that to happen. So we're going to see how that plays out. So they do indeed run into the overwatch and they get knocked back and interrupted, and that saves me a turn. However, this grenadier breaks into the hill and the wretches are coming behind. So already the level's getting pretty intense. I felt like those wretches were probably 2 turns, maybe even 3 turns away to getting me. There was a lot of distance. So I went for the shot. 100% chance to hit, and it did hit. Thank you. And that gave me an opportunity to push in, because both of those guys are downed and there's only 1 remaining. So on this level, I recommend being very aggressive. You're not going to ever clear out all of the enemies, in my experience.
Not a problem.
So what you want to do is get in that hill and just hold, and then move on as soon as you can. Because I tried fighting off wave after wave. It just seems endless. So Gabe is also next to the sniper, crossing down, and that hill is now empty. This is now where I would normally take my time, set up grenades, watch my back with this overwatch. However, I tried that a few times and it just seemed to just fail. It was very difficult to take 2 or 3 turns to do a proper setup. So on this one you kind of have to be quite fast in getting in that hill. You can see enemies are spawning behind, which means in maybe 2, 3 turns they're going to be coming up that stairway to meet me at the front of the bridge. So I needed to deal with the wretches from behind, then I could focus primarily on where I thought they were going to come from, which was the bridge. So I got Gabe here and he landed a nice nade. Luckily it was able to kill all 3, kind of ricocheted that one. And that kills all 3 wretches, so that gives me some breathing room. That means I'm sort of kind of look where the locust is coming from. They might be going down there, or they might also be pushing that bridge. And I'm not too worried about behind. So what I do is I make a push into the hill now. That player is downed. I now have one person in the hill. And you can see I've barely let anybody touch it, and they're only 2 points away from winning. So I now need to basically ace them over and over again and not let them touch the hill. So it becomes a game of making sure you've got ammo, making sure your overwatches is good. Because of situations like this, just having a decent idea of where they're going to come from does help a lot. And each turn you're in the hill, you gain 1 supply. So you can see now it's 2 to 1. Locusts need 2 points. I'm going to need 2, 4, 6, maybe even 8 more points. So again, I'm going to re-overwatch this right-hand side to stop worrying about those wretches. And I'm going to, again, carry on with the tactic. I'm going to put a grenade down here, plant a grenade and just sort of run back. So the idea, well, that I had in my head was to fill the maps with grenades. Then they wouldn't be able to push that hill, and then I would slowly make my way to the next hill. That was my idea I had in my head. So what I didn't know is once you've captured a certain amount of supply, the hill disappears. And then so you don't actually have to focus 2 hills at once, but I didn't know that. That was just a side mission. So I'm going to move up here because I'm pretty confident there's nothing coming from behind. And again, I'm still looking out for those locusts that I think are coming up that ramp. Now what I should have done here is probably overwatch the ramp, because really they're most likely to appear on the ramp. And those wretches actually get killed off, which was nice. That was like a clean turn. I think those are Reavers dropping off some more locust. Which means, I think one was a Grenadier. Those are the ones you've got to look out for. So there's 3 supply left on this hill. So I guess there's a total amount of supply in each hill. They took 2. I've taken 2 so far, so there's 3 remaining. I was thinking about pushing out. But then I was like, if I push out and he just pushes on me and shotguns me, I'm done. So I just overwatched with a full turn. And that was kind of the setup right now.
On the lookout.
Go ahead.
Is Overwatch above. This sniper was basically pivoting to and from each side of the bridge, just trying to shoot anything they could see. So if I had a chance like this, I was just trying to deal as much damage as possible to it, because I want it as low as possible, so when it walks into those Overwatches, hopefully it dies and then I don't have to think about it, you know. So you can see how many enemies get spawned in here. We've still got those wretches from behind that could be coming in. You know, we killed 4 of them, but I don't know if there's any more. Luckily, that Grenadier got killed, and here those locusts come up the stairs, so I'm getting pincered here already. And I do want to get out of this position and start thinking about that next hill, so I'm trying to fight like 3 fronts here.
Here we go.
Also, I obviously don't want Gabe to get pincered here.
Moving.
So what I did was I pushed up with the sniper. I first checked if I could shoot, and then I didn't have an angle. So I naded them both. That knocks off their Overwatch. Maybe I could have another shot. I could maybe empower her, but I'm going to decide to run away here. Just so, yeah, put some distance between myself and the shotgun guys. Because I'm kind of tucked in there. So I'm going to get Gabe to overwatch the... well, I guess you'd call it the start of the bridge / stairway. Then if they push on me, the shotgun, remember, so they haven't got massive range. Look down bottom, Stotty, obviously being Stotty, misses his shot. So I just get him to re-overwatch. And that's kind of the turn. I reload Sid, overwatch him, and just kind of hold in this position. Yeah, holding in that position to get this hill. They push into the Overwatch. I wonder how many times I'm going to say Overwatch in this playthrough. But then we get into a situation where this grenadier pushes on me, and Sid's quite exposed. So there's one guy on the bridge, one guy pushing the hill, there's some other guys coming up the stairway, so I think I wanted to maybe fight them, but then I thought to myself, if I start fighting them, it's going to take forever and I'm going to get pincered anyway. So I decided to sort of retreat here and kind of fall back. Because I felt like, yeah, if I don't really have any grenades to throw, and if I start firing, they might just push on me. So I'm now kind of in retreat mode, and I'm going to... The game plan here is to stop that locust going down the ramp and pushing onto Sid. Because obviously, if anyone dies, it's game over. So I was kind of thinking I could kill this guy with a grenade, deal with him. Then I'm not worried about that cross. But then I was like, well, if I kill him with a grenade, the shotgun guy's just going to come down the stairway and kill me with his shotgun. So I'm just going to do damage to the grenadier. That way, if he walks down this ramp and he's a bit low, he might die. So I was like, yeah, right, I'll check a shot, 50% chance. Okay, not really liking a 50% chance, so I'm going to run away. You know, and I think I need one more point on this hill for it to disappear. So just going to overwatch and make sure that this one doesn't push up. I think I'm kind of covered here from all angles. Seems to be okay. So far, I've yet to see any enemies throw grenades, but I'm sure that's going to be brought into play. But for the moment, I don't think I can be grenaded or anything surprise happens, so Overwatch seems to be working. So I'm glad I moved, because you can see that that locust did indeed reach the corner where Sid was. So it was a good job I moved, otherwise it had died. And now it's not too bad. I'm actually thinking about setting up the play we originally had. So the idea is plant grenades and then make my way backwards, so to run away. So I've planted a grenade and shot him, and the reason I'm okay with standing still there is the other guy has a shotgun, so he's not just going to walk up and shotgun me from across the map, so I'm kind of safe to be that far away from him, I think. He could move up, you know, he could move up. So I was kind of thinking, maybe I am in the open there. Decide to gamble here and just plant a grenade. So you can see the idea behind this was if we all fall back, plant a load of grenades and fall back. When anything comes down that bridge, they're going to be getting staggered and moved. And then I don't need to waste any turns dealing with them. I can waste my turns protecting the hill, or throwing grenades, or, you know, stimming, or something along those lines. So that was the plan. Luckily, that hammerburst guy slid up, who I didn't know existed, and almost one-shot me. So that was my one piece of luck, and it feels like when you do these missions, you do need one bit of luck. Or just something to go in your way. Like one turn to just be like, oh, he actually didn't push up there. So that was pretty decent. So we've got the bridge covered with grenades. I'm going to reload the sniper. Check for a shot. It's 50% chance to hit. I roll the dice and it actually hits. And I figured, well, I'll just go again then. And I actually downed him, so... That gave me then an opportunity to be like, let's run away. And then these two that are low, because off screen Stotty got hit by a hammerburst. I'm just going to run them out of there. So you remember, all of the dropships have dropped all of the enemies on the right hand side, where the first hill was I was defending. So far there's nothing, to my knowledge, on the hill. And this is what I was talking about. They're going to try to attempt to take the bridge, as I then attempt to, you know, move hill. But because of all these grenades, what I'm trying to do is injure him enough so when he then pushes forwards, these grenades are going to kill him. So that was the thinking. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we can see. I'm going to run away with Sid here. and push him right into this corner. And again, the reason I'm running onto the hill blind is I've died a lot on this one, and waiting around to kill all of the enemies just means more and more and more spawn, and you have no chance. It seems to be your best bet is to get all of them to spawn on one hill and then leg it to the other hill. And you can see the grenades here that I've set up are, you know, defending for one turn, and again they're still spawning on the first hill. I don't know if that's meant to happen, I don't know, but you know, it's working for me. So Sid is ready to get in the hill, and you know, I'm happy to jump him in the hill, but first I'll deal with the guy on the bridge. So he's dead, he's down, and I realised this sniper has an ability called Fast Fingers, which means if you kill someone or kill a downed enemy, it reloads. I needed to reload anyway, so I killed him, got the reload, that saved me an action point, and that let me run away. So that's what I chose to do. Stotty is really, really low, so my idea with him was just hide Gabe and him in like a corner so they can't get angled off, and then Sid's gonna do is he's gonna hop into the ring, plant a grenade, and then he's gonna tuck back and just hide. That was the play. So someone has to be in the hill, obviously, and I'm trying to do a playthrough where nobody dies, which means it doesn't really matter who goes in the hill. They're all going to die in one burst of hammer burst anyway, and I felt like I was kind of dead. I was in the hill, and I need to survive for 3 turns, but I'm fully overwatched. Now what you could do is climb out of the hill, clear the enemies, and then when it's clear, get back in the hill. But I tried that, and in my experience, you just get overrun. So it's best to try sit in the hill and just survive, pretty much. Otherwise, you end up clearing them out, you get in the hill, more spawn. So what I did was, I went up to the bridge with the sniper Michaela, naded one of them, so that interrupted his overwatch. I had a look for a shot to see if I could maybe kill the second guy. Wasn't able to. So I thought I was kind of stuck here. I couldn't really get Sid out of the situation. And I looked and looked for ages, and I couldn't find any moves, and then I realised I could move Gabe up here and throw a grenade. So that was the move I eventually decided to go for. That knocks off his overwatch, which is great, but it still doesn't really stop anything. The only thing that now allows me to do is Sid can shoot, but I'm probably not going to hit him anyway.
Get after it now.
But then I realised what I can do is I can empower the sniper, give her an extra turn, and go for a kill. So I check if I can kill. I kill the downed enemy, you know, which, you know, it's kind of irrelevant, but that's still one less thing to deal with. But I'm still pincered here with Sid. And then I realised Stotty, although really low, he kind of has to come down now to try save me. So Stotty's going to go in and throw the nade and kill this guy. But now 3 people are on the hill, and that's great, but they're all really low and they're not in great position, so I felt like I was going to get deleted from some angle. So all I did was, you can kind of see I'm in an alcove, so I'm kind of covered by both sides. It's just the left hand side and forwards where I'm a bit concerned. But everything seems to be spawning behind me. Nothing to my knowledge has spawned to my left yet. So I'm mainly focused on looking forwards, and what I'm thinking is, all these enemies that are spawning behind me, if I just sit in the hill for 3 quick turns, they're not going to reach me in time. So I decide to stay down here. I stim up Stotty. Not that it makes much difference, but maybe he survives a partial shot or something. Sniper again covering the bridge with all its grenades. And I just decide that I'm happy with that turn. I'm going to end it. I didn't really do anything. I just ended the turn. And we'll see what the Locusts have got planned for us. So I've pushed Gabe up here. And then I'm going to also get Gabe to plant a grenade. and I'm going to run back. And I only need to survive for one more turn here. I only really need to survive for one more turn, so I was like, alright, I'll get Stotty to plant a grenade, hop over and then return. But then I realised I'd hopped over, and I'd hopped over a ledge without a ladder, so I couldn't actually get back. And I was like, oh no, Stotty's in the hill, on top of a grenade, low HP. I can't get back, I've screwed it completely. So be careful what ledge you're hopping down. Eventually I realised, right, I can hop back up here, but I am really exposed. But because I've got the bridge covered with the grenades and Michaela, I don't think I'll get shot, but I'm still a bit nervous. So Sid's just going to re-overwatch that front position. And because I'm trying to cover anything pushing onto Stotty or Sid, I'm going to overwatch that area. And I'm going to end my turn. And again, everything's spawning behind. If you were to wait and fight every enemy, I think eventually these enemies would catch up to you and you'd be overrun. But because I've been in the hill every turn here, I'm gaining a point every turn, they're not quite catching up to me. So I just end my turn again. I felt like I was in a really good position. I end my turn, they begin to appear, but it's too late. I've captured it all, and I actually win the round. So that was that. No deaths, insane. If you like that, leave a comment, subscribe, check the playlists out.